give it to you on MLK Day. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening to all my dreamers, my knowers, my believers? We hope you all are having a wonderful MLK Day. That's right. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for y'all to hear some of the dumbest-ish, that people say about black hair. Y'all know who it is. It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha, a.k.a. Lolo. That's right. Look at that. I got my African-centric. Check out my jewelry I got on today. You see what I'm saying? Bam! Look at that little necklace. Y'all see that? Yeah, I'm trying to rock the little African. You gotta have an African-centric starter kit if you're gonna call yourself, black and all this good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Cheryl got her little bracelet on. Yeah. If y'all got it's MLK Day. This is a good day to be black. You know what I'm saying? Or any color for that matter. But anywho, it is MLK Day, and we hope you all are really living the dream. So sure, I got my co-host. She's always nice and conservative, but y'all know me, Key Lolo. I keeps it 100. I keeps it. It's MLK Day. We got to talk about our dreams and all this other good stuff. So Cheryl, how's your dream going? And sunny. I see that sun back there. I see it.
Well, we've had a storm a couple of 2 days, and so everyone that knows me that don't live in California, they're saying, "Are y'all all right? Y'all getting rain?"
Well, my BFF, he in the chat, y'all. He said, my starter kit. That's right, Chill. Check it out. I got my ring. Cheryl got some rain. Look at that. Look at that gin y'all made. They don't want none. Y'all better back up off me smelling coffee, Cheryl. They don't want none of that gin y'all made, okay? Yeah, so you got some sunshine and got a little rain. Okay, yeah. So we got a little snow. It's a little cold. A lot. Okay, all right, okay. So we got a dope topic today. And I hope you're ready. Now, I believe that post the live, people are going to watch this and they're going to be scrolling back and forth and rewatching some of the clips. This is going to be a very powerful live today, a live podcast. And we got a great topic. This topic is actually trending on TikTok and right here on YouTube. I haven't seen it that much on Facebook. LinkedIn is very persnickety. Hey, LinkedIn, how's my LinkedIn peoples doing? LinkedIn is so prim and proper. But I'm sure people on LinkedIn, especially professionals, are having some concerns as well. And so this is a nice build. So the podcast, this is our 38th episode. All right, we're getting somewhere, Cheryl. I know. We done made it to 38, girl. How old is you? 32? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm 33, okay? 32 and 33, okay? Yeah, that's right. So the podcast today, so you guys get ready. This is going to be deep. It's going to be good. We're going to take a deep dive. And we are going to be discussing the plight of Afro hair. We talk about dumb stuff. You can't, now, what's going to make this real dumb? You guys get ready for this. So we know there's the C.R.O.W.N Act, right? And that's creating respectful and open, workspaces for, natural hair, okay? All right. And so we got the C.R.O.W.N Act, right? But there's this big wave of complaints that customers are having to pay deposits. They're having to pay something called an inconvenience fee. That's right, Rashida, at 31, and I'm a Scorpio. I'm cheap. I'm real cheap, okay? All this knockoff jewelry. Look at this, fake. This ain't no real silver, you know what I'm saying? Real cheap, okay? And so you have an inconvenience fee. You have a deposit fee that you have to pay. And then, what's this? And then you have to come with your hair washed. So this is very interesting because you got the C.R.O.W.N Act that's protecting all of this natural hair, but we have a workforce that doesn't seem to understand what they're dealing with when it comes to I got Nene here. Here go Nene. So here's my girl Nene. So they're just trying to figure out if Nene take them braids out, right? And she coming to the hair salon, Nene gonna have to pay extra because this is an inconvenience. Look at how mad it. Look at this, Nene. So Nene's gonna have to pay for this, right? Nene's gonna have to have it blow dried out, right? Nene is also going to have to leave a deposit, if she makes an appointment online. So Nene's going to have to leave a deposit. And then we have the C.R.O.W.N Act. So we are confused, at least I am. Now, we're going to talk about your dad and what he did pre the C.R.O.W.N Act that a lot of people don't know. We talk about it in the documentary, which is free right here on YouTube. But tonight we're going to just go into it a little bit more because we really couldn't get heavy in the documentary because I ain't had that much time, you know what I'm saying, or that much money. What's up, Sophia? I see you in the chat. How you doing? Happy MLK Day to you too as well. So we're going to be able to go into that. So the first half, we're going to talk about the plight. This is a problem because we have the C.R.O.W.N Act, and you would think, sure, with the C.R.O.W.N Act, we wouldn't have these issues of deposits. You got to come with your hair washed, right? This inconvenience fee to comb this stuff out. Because they like, girl, if you think I'm about to comb this out and put some braids and all this, some knotless braids. Look at that one knotless braid. You see what I'm saying? So let's get it going. Let's hop right into it. Do you have any opinions or thoughts about an inconvenience fee? And we'll talk about what that is. I got some videos too on that. Deposits. You have to leave a deposit. We're talking about, this is all in the natural hair world, okay? And then you got to come in with it washed yourself and blow dry, Cheryl. What do you think about the new natural hair customer service experience in the wake of the C.R.O.W.N Act?
Just as confused, I'm sure, as most people are. What is the convenience?
Inconvenience. Okay. Anybody in the chat, if you guys are familiar with the inconvenience fee, let's bring Cheryl up to snuff, So if anybody knows what the inconvenience fee is, and I think I got a video on that while we wait for some people to come through. Let's see. I see my boss is in the chat. What's up, boss? I see you in there. So I'm going to, let's see if anybody dropped something. It's called an inconvenience fee. And again, we are talking about the plight. This is the plight of Afro. You guys call it, some of you guys call it 4C. Cheryl and I, mother texture. Okay, so you got different variations of it. So, and this is, okay, so this is the best they can get on that. So let me, somebody drop something in the chat. Hold up, here we go. Okay. What's up, Cheryl? I see you in the chat. So again, so Cheryl wants to know, what is an inconvenience fee? So let me play you I
asked, what is the inconvenience?
What is the inconvenience? Oh, well, let me show you what they're putting out is the inconvenience. You guys get ready for the inconvenience is what Cheryl wants to know. So here we go. Let me play this. Here we go.
Black is beautiful. But this has changed because black people are aware.
So I'm very shocked at what is going on in 2022 concerning the whole hairstylist community.
Okay? It's $25 if you're natural. If I have to blow it out and pull it out, it's $25. If you're not nasty, on top of the $25 blowout and press.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Oh, well, what about protective styles? Listen, this is not going to damage your hair, sweetheart. Our hair can sustain anything, okay? We have very great, strong hair.
The dumbest shit people say about black hair.
Okay. The dumbest ish that people say about black hair. That's the inconvenience right there, Cheryl. So she wants to know, What's the inconvenience? And so I see you, Teresa. What's happening? What's happening? So let's see. We got some good comments in the chat. We appreciate this. Now remember, you guys hit that thumbs up button, right? And the dialogue in the chat, it helps Cheryl and I get into the algorithms. So we appreciate that very, very much. So Cheryl Teresa Sanders says she would imagine that the stylist is suggesting that your hair is difficult to work with. Therefore, this is an inconvenience, Cheryl. This right here. Okay. Sophia says, come with your hair washed? Question mark. She like, really? I'm going to a salon for a wash. I do believe detangling at home on your own is fine. Okay. So the inconvenience is actually having to work through this hair. So, but remember now, guys, we have the C.R.O.W.N Act, and it's talking about, the freedom to do this. This is what the C.R.O.W.N Act is all about. Right, Cheryl? We want to wear our hair the way as it is. And
I am still at the what is the inconvenience when that's your job?
What my cosmetologist at? Professionalism and respect for each other's time is what is needed. Okay, Sophia is like, we gotta have some respect. Okay, so Cheryl, come on, come on now, Cheryl.
Well, let's put it this way. I think that here again, I think that there's sometimes when we're talking about, there's class issues, and then there's other issues between, in the social world, as you could understand. You have that background. I think this is a generation gap.
Oh.
I think that what would be an inconvenience for a stylist and a cosmetologist of 25, 30, 40 years ago, I don't even think that you would even utter such a thing. I don't know why that's almost like saying, when you go to a physician, make sure you prepare your, and that's just how much we're in trouble. We're in trouble. That is, I don't know what the inconvenience would be. I don't know if you could do your own hair at home. Why would you?
Phew. So let me just say this, Cheryl, and you guys, cause y'all know me, Kilolo. I'm about to keep it 100. I see y'all in the chat. So here we go. Cause we got some. I have some wonderful clips for you guys to help build on this conversation. Cause we're gonna definitely, we're backpedaling our way back to Dr. Willie Morrow's contribution to being able to wear your hair and take care of it at home, and also for us to be able to care for it professionally. So I think in addition to what you're saying, that back in the day, to comb out the hair would never have been something called an inconvenience. But I think what we're seeing now, Cheryl, in the wake of the natural hair movement, by the new natural hair movement and the C.R.O.W.N Act, is people who go for weeks and months with unkempt hair, and they come to the salon or the barber shop and they want a cut. Maybe they want this tapered up or fade around it, but it's so matted and it's so unkempt, or you can't get through it because the salon is thinking we're going to book for a shampoo and a comb it out and press it or style it or braid it, but it's so matted. And so we have, this natural hair movement that is saying, well, then deal with it. You have to deal with it. And so, but we know the education around, Afro hair, it's not quite where it could be, so that's the confusion. So go ahead.
Well, Well, we're talking around the issue. I think that the generation that has um, rung the natural hair bell, and that's their song, and this is their generation. I think the customer that has gone natural in since Y2K, I don't think that they have learned how to take care of their own hair.
That's my boo.
Okay.
Okay.
That is where, and then what they happens is that they've gone into the natural hair movement, and then they're exacerbated the issue with the technology that they are using, which is homemades and butters and all that other kind of stuff that don't really go together. So you're having a very low cosmetic counter that doesn't address, doesn't detangle, it doesn't really, it's not meeting the needs, and then they're not prepared to take care of natural, even though they sung the song of natural hair. And one of the things that I want people to realize, that to be really truly balanced and aligned with Afro natural living, you should know how to comb your natural birth hair. You should not just be natural because it's a trend. And so because you can't actually, it's an inconvenience for you to do it at home. It should not be an inconvenience for a professional. That's their job. They should be able to manage it and part it and separate it very easy. But if they do not want to be tethered and bothered with things that you should probably be doing at home, so the generation is just not prepared to be natural as our probably our grandparents and our parents were when they decided to go into the Afro, because I've never heard of such. So there is a disconnect with those who decided to go natural in 1999 from present day. And the cosmetologists are just probably to their wits' end of just, because the layman led us into this natural hair movement. And so there's no, and now that the professional is a little probably resentful, a little bitter about being inundated with this hair with enormous buildup, and just it's out of control. And so they're not, I think that they're just two different generation of thoughts here, and they're all meeting at the salon. And so we've got to talk about it. I know that's why we're here.
Yes, you're absolutely right. This is why we're here. Now, we do have some people who, might be new to our platform. Maybe they're not familiar with the C.R.O.W.N Act. So what I'm going to do is just play a nice little clip of what the C.R.O.W.N Act is, and then we're going to talk about some of the history of what fueled the C.R.O.W.N Act. But I want you guys to keep in mind, the dichotomy of what Cheryl is saying that's taking place in the salon, as well as what's taking place at home. So let me just show this clip to bring everybody up to snuff, so we can know exactly what is the C.R.O.W.N Act. So let's play a little clip of what the C.R.O.W.N Act is.
Now, the C.R.O.W.N Act, first passed in California, is one step closer to becoming a federal law. It would prohibit schools and workplaces from discriminating against a person's hairstyle, such as locks, braids, twists, and knots.
The acronym stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair.
All right. So there we have it. That is what the C.R.O.W.N Act actually means. And so there's a narrative, and we talked about this last week. So we're going to build back, on that narrative, that a lot of this C.R.O.W.N Act is stemming from things that happened to us during slavery. So this is a professor, and she's actually here in Ohio at Ohio State University. So sure, I'm going to play what she is building up on about the C.R.O.W.N Act, and then we just want you to take it away from what she has to say, okay? And then I see some stuff coming through the chat, but let me just play this right quick. So here we go.
The act was reintroduced this summer, and lawmakers are now working to get more support behind it. But we wanted to really take a closer look at the root of hair-based discrimination.
Krista Frost spoke with a historian to find out how we got here. Krista. Yeah, good morning. So the professor that I spoke with is a women and gender studies professor at Ohio State University. Now, she told me that this discussion about ethnic hair started hundreds of years ago. In America, it took off around the time of slavery.
How does one protect one's hair under the grueling conditions of enslavement? So you have people who wear headscarves, you have people who figure out patterns that they would do to keep their hair protected.
Okay, so there you have it. That's a scholarly's take and position on how we got here to the C.R.O.W.N Act. Explain to us a little bit more, in your opinion, about what happened to our hair during slavery, that we're at this a pickle in a situation where you have a workforce that can't meet the demands of the confusion that their customers have with not understanding their role in home hair care. I know that's kind of crazy of a question, but I hope you're following me, Cheryl. So walk us through how we're getting this all, mixed up, or is this professor right on, dead on about slavery and protecting hair and wearing hair?
I'm not I guess I am not against professors speaking about the subject matter, because it is parts of it is studied and can be studied in that manner. I think what we're missing is there's a difference between a hair historian and a firsthand account of studying it from a cosmetic perspective. And history is history, sociology is sociology. But when you understand the politics of the plantation, not so much slavery, because that's, a deep dive, but the politics of a plantation is important. Now, there's an obvious note that most professors and most people miss. And we get kind of the racial issue of the owner of the plantation, and of course the greater white labor force of those who are in charge or in power. But that's all we wore on the plantation. And so, the people in charge of the plantations were very accustomed to Black people wearing their natural hair. So that is something that we miss. And there we go again. That's the politics of a plantation. But that is not the problem. The problem is when, as Black people, begin to elevate in greater industries and greater markets, and you look at the early 20th century, we didn't have the issues that we have today. These are distinctively different issues. Okay. And part of the problem, and I won't, just for the sake of time, we don't have a lot of time to go into the politics of the plantation and dealing with the Black image, the Black body, and Black hair and Black beauty, and what that represents in a free world, because these are people who were not able to be, their movements were not free. So therefore, their cosmetics and products were not accessible. So we're not going to go into that deep dive. But what I will say is that what we are dealing with now, within the last 30 years, it is a disconnect between the consumer and the cosmetology industry and the state boards. And so, and that, unfortunately, that information would not be available for professors, unfortunately. And since it is not really a concern for cosmetologists, because cosmetology is concerned with making a living. And so it is kind of missed. So when you are confronted with, and hair discrimination, you have to remember hair discrimination, everybody wore an afro between the years of 1965 until 1978. That's a long time to have natural hair, right? And so, and you're trying to say, well, where did the wheel fall off? And the wheel falls off when you have a movement of a generation between 1995 and up until 1995 when they switched it to the natural hair movement. But the natural hair as a movement is not in 20th century. It's only in the early 20th century because Black people didn't have a natural hair industry. They had a black hair industry. They didn't have a natural. And so, you have these.
Wait a minute, hold on. What's the difference between black hair and natural hair? I know I ain't the only one. So did anybody catch that? She put a shimmy shammy on us. So what's the difference? Black hair, natural hair.
When professors teach, or anybody, cosmetologists, instructors, anybody, they misunderstand that Dr. Morrow did not create a misnomer. Natural hair as a movement doesn't make any sense because it's not. Everybody has natural hair, and I think that just that particular title guides and misdirects people when you're talking about social problems like hair discrimination, because no one is discriminating against your hair. What they are talking about is hairstyles that an ordinary white woman, Mexican woman, Hispanic woman, Indian woman, braids, anyone would wear. We're talking about a social problem and a cosmetology industry problem that when a Black person wears it, and once again, I'll mention the word Afrophobia. That is what it is, not hair discrimination. But as I digressed, I will go on by saying Cosmetology and State Board did not embrace the Afro. They don't have a lot of years of experience embracing Afro-ness. So, Black hair care is all of the gamut. It is the Afro. It is relaxers. It is straight hair. It is the curl. It is Vergerol. It is the blowout. It is barbering. It's the whole gamut. So that's what I mean by Black hair care industry, which is the industrial complete complex. Natural hair is so void of and so subgrouped out. It's a segment. You even have Black women discriminating against other Black women who decide to bleach or color or blow dry or straighten. Even when you flat iron, then you're not natural, and then blah 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 blah. So it's Cosmetology State Board, Black cosmetologists, and then natural hair people having a war with names, terms, plights, movements, products. Then you got newbies with hair care brands that don't have experience in the cosmetology field. We're all fighting about something that State Board and cosmetology could have dealt with probably about 40 years ago. But and then of course you have it studied as a social phenomenon, which puts it into the collegiate professors' hands, and then they talk about it in such a way that doesn't really meet the street, and it doesn't meet the cosmetology industry. So everybody's hitting and missing, and we're not talking about how to integrate it into the normalcy of what the population is starting to look like.
Oh, fire, fire, fire. the Facebook chat is like, whoever that is on Facebook hitting them hearts. I was over here like patting my feet like, you go, you go, you go, like we have a church up in here. So again, let me just, I was writing down the words of fire that was coming out, that this is the plight of the natural hair movement. Again, we got a war on words against each other. We got these products that are low level, you know, in this performance. We have these new people who are not familiar, who don't even understand the entire black hair experience that encompasses all of what we do to our hair as black people. And what I find, and you guys let me know what are your thoughts about this, because when I did research, you know, for the documentary, I won't tell a lie. I was floored to find out that your father had already done the work for us to even be able to wear our hair. So to your point, we really shouldn't be having any movement in the first place. But I'm surprised that the scholarship of our politicians and of the people who wrote these C.R.O.W.N Acts were not aware of what your father did. So let me just play a clip so we can build into the wonderful contributions, because I don't think people understood or even understand what was happening before we got to where we're at today, where we're all confused, because a lot of people really think this C.R.O.W.N Act is new. This protecting our hair and how we should wear our hairstyles is new. So let me play the first clip. I hope I got it in order here. All right, let's see. Here we go.
I'm going to talk about a portion of a book that I'm working on. I'm writing right now about how the U.S. Army as an institution tried to manage what many of its members started to refer to as the problem of race. That's the core of my book. I'm trying to figure out how the Army dealt with demands, with problems that often seem to challenge its own sense of itself, its practices, its institutions. The Army needed to define racial identity as a potentially positive force, or at least a force that had to be acknowledged. What then is that racial identity? In an era of cultural nationalism, young black soldiers wanted their black identity recognized.
Wow. I hope you guys are following this. The Army already said that cultural identity, and we hear this all the time, that culture is king. And in case some of you are wondering, I'm kind of confused about the Army. In the United States of America, the military sets the tone for how we're to act in a society. So the military is where they practice what it's going to look like. You know what I'm saying? When we're out in the world. So the military had already acknowledged that how we wore our hair was key. So before I play the clip about your dad, tell us how your dad got drawn into the process of helping the Army to understand the very important benefit of recognizing the culture and the positive force that it played in the military.
You have to understand that the military was concerned with performance. And so when you are zeroing in on performance, which is you have to perform, well, regardless of what branch, what sector in the military you were, performance was key. And they began to understand how their performance was germane to their expression of how they looked, how they felt, and how they were recognized. Because when someone recognizes you, when someone sees you, and someone looks at you as a whole person, then that raises morale. And when you raise morale, you raise performance. and military is a performance kind of population. And so they began to understand that, not only are we want to win wars, and we want to, create, relations in other countries, we've got to make sure that these, particular men and women are happy. And then one of the things in doing that is to recognize their self-worth, self-value, their self-identity. But most importantly, can they freely express themselves? And I think that was important.
Now we see the build, okay? So the Army, and this is, again, this is my position in the confusion. You've got these people introducing the C.R.O.W.N Act on behalf or at the behest or per the fueling of the natural hair movement. So the natural hair people are like back here pushing politicians forward. But, and I'm not saying natural hair people are uneducated people. I'm definitely not saying that. But as representatives of those constituents, and I'm not even saying that every politician should know of the military history. But you would think, Cheryl, at least just one person would have said, excuse me, Madam House Representative or whatever. I believe we've done that already. We need to let the cosmetology and the barber and the hair industry, work through this, and we need to pour some money into raising the bar and all that good stuff, because we already took care of that. The United States Army already said we were making these concessions for blacks to wear their hair naturally. So now let me play the clip, and then we're gonna take a deeper dive, because as you guys can see, when I came across this, I couldn't believe it. I called let me just play the clip. I'm getting a little bit excited here. Hold on, let me play the clip. When y'all see the clip, y'all gonna be like, shut the front door. Okay, here's the clip. Here we go.
So here's another problem that Army leaders confronted. How can specific racial identity be given space in a uniformed service? Much of that conflict here is encapsulated in a struggle over hair. A report on Army race relations that was done in May 1970, one of those studies, concluded that there is, quote, no single thing that exacerbates and fosters ill will more than the topic of haircuts.
This is the way they do this thing. Right on. They said the Afro was legal. Am I right or wrong? That's right. That's what they said. It was legal. We can sport an Afro. All right. This man, there's a lot of brothers here. This man here has got an Afro. This is an Afro right here. Or somewhat of an Afro. It's not big, no. But they want us to wear skin head. What they call it? High and tight. High and tight. It's not my culture. Am I right or wrong?
A survey at Fort Carson in March of 1970 about soldiers' concerns and complaints found that 1 in 5 listed hair as their top complaint. 2/3 of them put hair in the top 4. When Fort Bragg set up interracial seminars in late 1969 to talk about race and discontent, participants reportedly were preoccupied with hair policy. And journalist Wallace Terry, who was the bureau chief for Time magazine in Vietnam, interviewed hundreds of servicemen, most of them African American, between 1967 and 1969. When he testified for Congress about racial conflict, the only thing that came above hair in the concerns he voiced were slow promotions and disproportionately dangerous assignments.
Okay, so we're building up. I'm here to tell you, Cheryl, I just cannot believe that hair was making that big of an issue in the military, to the point where the men and some of the women were not even willing to fight the war. So again, your father comes into the scene. How did your father get to this point where he was appointed? That was a monumental task. You're talking about the entire United States Armed Forces, not just the Army, all of it. How was your father able to address this so that where we're at today, because we need to know this guy so that we can move onward and not have inconvenience fees and do your own hair and all this, wash your own hair and leave us a deposit. How did your father take on this task? And I know you were just born, you know what I'm saying, Cheryl? But what do you know about him? What was in the mind of how he was going to do this?
Well, you have to remember, I didn't hear the story from Mr. Morrow from the first time. I heard it from a woman named Marty, and a woman who was friends with him until like the very end. She was already 25 years older than he was, and she was still part of his business group until just maybe about last year. And so Marty would tell me, because she was the secretary of the man who hired him, and she would sit me down, of course, because I wanted to know. But they did not go to Congress. They didn't go to the Senate. They didn't go to corporate. They didn't go to even Ultrasheen. They didn't go to Johnson, Duke, and Ravine. They didn't go corporate. They didn't go collegiate. They went to Marty. They went to a barber because they wanted to go to a barber. And they wanted to go, so they interviewed over 200 barbers within the United States. And because Mr. Morrow addressed questions, in fact, he gave them questions, and he was the smartest one out of the bunch. But to go on and to say how he did it, he wanted to make sure that the comb had a method. So he taught them in terms of, so he divided the subject matter. Okay, he divided it with by Afro curly hair. The word natural never came into the lexicon until it was the actual name of the hairstyle. But to call it scientifically, genetically, like a name like natural hair never came into the lexicon. But I will say that when he divided the science of the hair, the culture, the plantation science, the history, and then with the comb, and then of course he was the sharpest and best barber in the world at that time. So it was the style, was the cut, it was the education. He made the comb and wanted to teach you how to hold it. You had to know how to insert it into the afro and then exit it out. I mean, he had a whole package. And then he created a magazine for the U.S. Armed Forces and the Pentagon to teach it. Then he taught it on the high school level. But I think also too, his expertise was in shaving Black men as well. So one of the opportunities that I want to talk about is that cosmetologists as a whole and barbers as a whole needs to engage with Congress and to get the same opportunity to show their prowess, to show that their brightness, to show that they are experts in it, not to go over the actual professional and go straight over to professors and politicians. It's really doing the art form a disservice, and that's why we have the mess that we have today, because everybody is talking about self-love and actual cultural hairstyles when the cultural hairstyles of Africa have already integrated Europe. Europeans were wearing them in 17th, 18th, 19th century. And so, it's kind of unfortunate that And one of the things that I think I told you about, the state of the state of the industry, the state of natural hair or black hair, we all need to just get in a room and get some of the how we got into it and how we get ourselves out of it. But Dr. Morrow had a whole program called Curly Cues for the Pentagon.
Guys. So you guys, I know you. I'm sure you guys are like, well, it is. It's really deep. It's really deep. And on the other token, I can't help but to say, I feel like, why nobody never said anything, and they still aren't. You know, the scholars are still not owning up to, we overlooked, this was an oversight in our historical survey of the situation. Because I feel like the right, because, you know, Amos Wilson and them would have never let this went down like this. John Henry Clark, Khalid Muhammad, y'all know these names. Don't act like Kawanza Kujufu, Francis Cress Welsing. Come on now. I'm going to tell you this. You guys think I'm joking, but I'm telling you the truth. When I was an outreach worker, they used to have these things called the Black Think Tank. And these Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Naeem Akbar, Khalid Muhammad. This list can keep going on. Michael Eric Dyson. This list can keep going on and on and on. John Henry Clark. Dr. Ben Yochanan, okay? They would host these think tanks to do exactly what Cheryl is saying. To prepare us to take our knowledge and use them collectively to elevate and protect the people in the community. Everybody is ready to buy more products. Before I play this last clip, talk to us about people who are saying, we need some more products. You and Ladosha over there talking about getting together. But remember, guys, on the shoulders of giants, this is how Dr. Morrow was able to do this. Someone has given him the directions to do that. He had to talk before he even had a hair care product. He had to use his verbal, esque and all that cool stuff. So what do you say to people who are saying what we need is a product, not the conversation? And then I'm going to play that clip as proof that he actually did what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the first things that she said when that last clip, it's very important that we didn't really catch it. One of the reasons why the Pentagon and the U.S. Armed Forces in exchange, that movement was very important, is because they knew how harmful uniform standards were on Black people. Say it again. They found out how uniform standards, that is what the C.R.O.W.N Act is supposed to do. However, if the institution itself does not know that it is harmful to students on campuses, if it is harmful at jobs and work. Now, there is a distinction here. The military is a tax-paying entity. And here we go again, when Congress is trying to federally fix a problem that actually the step that Mr. Morrow did not have to deal with is the private sector. Now they have the private sector being able to make its own choices about uniform standards. But why did the military was able to override their own injustices and biases to say it doesn't make a difference? We are trying to get this soldier to feel good about working for the U.S. government. And whatever we have to do to make that happen, we will do it. And we're going to get an expert from the cosmetology and barbering industry to teach us how to do that. And so that particular expertise. Now that's where cosmetologists are trying to go now. They're not experts because the industry in and of itself is not creating a path to that. And I think that's what we want to change. They've created the path to a bunch of junk brands and junk product, but they have not created the path to expertise, sophistication, and a real high art and respect for the arts and sciences of Afro curly hair as it belongs side by side of the traditional cosmetology.
Girl, that's everybody. Come on, y'all. Let's give a lap for Jesus. Ow! Did y'all hear what she just said? You guys, oh my gosh. You guys gotta understand the intellect of licensed cosmetologists is so profound. I mean, I am not a hair designer. I've never made that a big secret. I would tell you I am a fan of what I see come out of the minds of barbers and cosmetologists as an older woman. You know, it just blows your mind. So let me just play you guys the clip about her dad. So here's the proof, because I know some people are like, I want to see the clip where her father actually did something. What did he do? All right, y'all get ready. Don't y'all be screenshotting my research. No, I'm just kidding. I got off of YouTube. I got the people. I left the thing, their names in the chat so you guys can see who they are. Go over to their pages and please support them. Okay, please do. But here we go. Dr. Willie Morrow introduces the Army about the power of culture and respect that's needed so that they can perform in the military. Here we go.
Leaders recognized that PX stock was aimed primarily at white soldiers and their families, and that many black soldiers and their families felt ignored. They felt like they were not being treated as full members in the Army. The shelves on PXs were filled with shampoos that promised to bring out the natural highlights and the softness of hair. That wasn't welcoming. So they solved the problem that was within their sphere. The first thing they did was to identify a, quote, urgent requirement to improve haircutting for black customers, afros. They located a black barber from San Francisco who had written about styling black hair, and they sent him traveling around U.S. military installations, Army installations all over the world. He spent 3 weeks in Germany and England, where he taught 750 barbers and 300 beauticians. And then he did a 40-day whirlwind tour of Alaska, Hawaii, and Southeast Asia. He taught barbers how to cut black hair. This is him teaching barbers in Tokyo. I gave this a version of this talk in Tokyo in January, and had a lot of requests for copies of this photograph. Afros, yeah, you know, they're sort of modified, but at least they were teaching the proper tools and techniques, and they were guaranteeing that they wouldn't be charged more for afros than white soldiers were charged for regulation haircuts. It wasn't going to be a specialty haircut. It was just a haircut.
I'm just, anybody in here just like, what? Let me just repeat this, Cheryl. Now, Cheryl did not know I had this clip. And Cheryl did not know. I actually talked to Dr. Beth Bailey. And I talked to her extensively. And she had much more to say than she could even put in that clip, okay? But Cheryl did not know that I had that clip. And if you guys could just backtrack to what Cheryl just said. She said that the Army, they knew they had to solve this problem. And Dr. Beth Bailey just said the same thing within their sphere. They knew what they had to do. You know, KRS-One always said, you want to hear a fresh rhyme? You go to the source. You know what I'm saying? They went to the source. This is what he did. I will never be able to do this in my freaking, I'm not going to cuss because YouTube, they've been flagging my A-double quickie letter for cussing. They do. They flagging us on here, sure. I ain't gonna cuss. I'm gonna use some new words. Muffler suckers. You know what I'm saying? I will never be able to do this. I'm gonna repeat what she said. 3 weeks, 750 barbers in education, 300 hairstylists, 40 days traveling around the world. On top of that, Alaska, Europe, and Southeast Asia. Dude, I can't even get it out of my mouth. You gave, as a kid, I would have been acting a fool. No, Daddy! Don't leave me! Forget them stupid hairstylists. I want you home for Christmas. What sacrifice to leave the family to help us out so that we can be here. Cheryl.
Talked about that, but my mother was like, really? I mean, people would come stay at the house. And let me just say this, and that was 40 days in 1 year, spread out, but it happened like for 5 years straight. That's why I have all those pictures.
And let me just say this too. Sorry, did I open? Okay. She said this too. She said that she went over to Asia herself and presented on your father's education, and that the Asians want that poster. Is that true?
Yeah. You don't want to know how much they're willing to pay for that picture.
Wow.
In 5 figures.
Wow. To Macomb girls, Point Macom's girl, on that last Monday, we want to have you, invite you into the chat to talk about what you want to talk about. So get your topic ready. I want you to email me at ladoshaw@yahoo.com, because you have been absolutely phenomenal. You've been our third unofficial, co-host of the podcast, The Dumbest Ish, that people say about black hair. And so I just had to drop what you just said up on the screen again. And people are still asking. They want more products. They want more brands. But now, Macomb's girl, are you a cosmetologist? Because you're saying junk brands, junk products, junk science. This is the plight of Afro hair here in America and around the world. And like Cheryl said, the challenge is that we have cosmetologists who know what they need to do to take care of the hair, right? And then we have the customers who are over here with the unkempt, uncared for. Now, when we say unkempt, we're not talking about your unkempt hairstyle. We're talking about you're not caring for it, and you've got all this goo on it, and you don't know, what to do with it. So we've got these issues, that's confronting each other. And so, Cheryl, you're saying, again, could you repeat what that solution looks like in modern day times? Because, again, people are thinking that the hair care product is the answer. And you say what to more hair care products?
It's not that I'm opposed to more what? More of the same. And if you are asking for more of the same, and what you really need to, and one of the reasons why we need to get together and have everybody in the same room is because so we will know what to even ask for. When the industry is not the perfect breeding ground for us to even know what to ask for. We don't even know where we are technologically. We don't know where we are chemically. The trends may come. Are we prepared for them? Not so much product, but to me, we need more experts to make new products. Not the fact that we need more bottles and we need more jars, we need more experts to be able to communicate and collaborate with chemical houses, manufacturers. They need to be able to communicate and describe and to say what we need and what we don't need and what we did, and that's not good and that's bad. We need to talk to, the voids are so large at this point. I think that you and I have spoken to in many times on the phone that the education opportunity for us right here and right now is to catch the professional and the future professional and the beauty enthusiast and the media content writers, everybody, to get them on the same page of where we're actually going. And I'm not saying that whatever we do need, that we don't need it. We first need leadership. We first need leadership to be able to say, because we are in the desert. I'm not saying I'm Moses, but what I am saying is at least I know where we don't want to go and where we've been, what we've tried. And I am an expert to be able to say what didn't work. Don't protect what didn't work just because it makes you feel good. But as a professional industry, we can tell the truth. We can be vulnerable, and we can also say, because we took a vow when we stand behind that chair to give the best service we can and to be consumer advocates, be vanguards, but we also have to be trailblazers. And this is the industry that we're committed to.
Hey, listen here, Moses. I don't care what you say. Tell old Pharaoh to let my hair people go. We do need this leadership, because the beauty industry, we've been cranking out the same stuff for almost 80 to 90 years. It's time for something new in the beauty industry. So here's what we have to offer. We want the public to be on notice. We hear a common theme that kept coming from the research from Dr. Beth Bailey, who I have a lot of admiration and respect for, and I encourage everybody. That's right, gone Moses. I heard that, Sandra. She is Moses, okay? From Dr. Beth Bailey. Please go and check her out. If you would like a copy of her research on Afro hair and the race in the Vietnam War, I would gladly send you the link. And it is a powerful and mighty read. It will definitely, just validate how you feel if you are in the profession of cosmetology and barbering, or you're an aspiring natural hair. You guys love that word. So again, that's Dr. Beth Bailey. But here's what we have coming. So the public be aware, and licensed cosmetologists, barbers, natural hairstylists with your license, be on the lookout, because we are bringing the Afro Hair Science Education Summit to Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, we are working diligently on this, and this is going to give us that opportunity to have that discussion. Who's going to be a part of it? Of course, Cheryl. Cheryl is going to teach us about Afro hair science. There's a lot to unpack. No, we can't get it all in one initial, meeting, a day of education, but she's going to get us started. We also have the support of Waverly Willis. You guys might know him. He's right here in Cleveland, Ohio. He's the owner of Urban Cuts. He's an educator at La Barberia Institute of Hair, and out here in what is that? I think that's Mayfield Heights, Ohio. We also have Nancy Brown of the Aveda Institute. We've got Catlin Naturals is in the chat as well. We also have Lavina Joseph. So there are concerned citizens as well as licensed professional. Ebony Naylor, she's not in the chat, but Ebony is also helping us put this together. So you guys be on the lookout. Get ready. If you live in the state of Ohio and the surrounding states, maybe we're going to see if we can get some more people to come in. But that's what we have coming up. And we also have free educational support the last Monday of every month, starting in February. So we are doing what Cheryl is saying without her even knowing it, because she didn't know about that free education part. But the Afro Hair Science Educational Summit, it is coming. It is time for us to take the beauty industry into the new millennium with a new school of thought, because you are right. The younger people are looking for more stuff so that they can take what's in their minds and tinker and do other stuff to be prepared to work alongside these hair care companies. Okay, so next week you said something that was very interesting. Thank you guys for the love. Y'all keep hitting them heart buttons. If you haven't smashed that heart or thumbs up button, go ahead on and smash it. We appreciate that. But sure, you said something very wonderful or interesting and intriguing. Again, Cheryl never know what I'm coming up with. I just want to let y'all know. She always stay ready. I ain't gotta get ready. That's my partner right there. Cheryl, y'all put them hands up for Cheryl in the chat. That's right. You need that education. Come on. Hold on, McCall. Let me drop that in the chat. Hold on. Here we go. I love you, McCall's girl. She said, Cheryl, she said, I need that education. Hey, this is the platform right here. This podcast, we keeps it 100. But here's what you said that was interesting, Cheryl. You said this whole talking to clients and consultations. I don't know if you guys know this, but Beyonce's very famous hairstylist, Ty Hunter, he ditched the beauty industry. He said, I had enough. He's out. He got out, and he wrote a book called Makeover from Within. And I find it ironic that, he's talking about some of the stuff that we're talking about. Celebrity stylists aren't known for going there, but he went there. He said he's not going to do the beauty industry anymore. He's not going to do Beyonce's hair anymore. He's talking about the makeover from within. And the only way we can do that is with consultations. So sure, we're going to give them a taste of what you talk about when you talk about intelligence. And I have our consultation forms here because we do consultations. Ain't nobody's name on it, don't worry, okay? So we do consultations here. So we're going to talk about the importance of a consultation. What is it? Maybe you can give some insight into what a consultation would look like and what it should sound like, what it should consist of. Just like a general overview to help people understand, because part of this topic today about the plight of textured hair, we're talking about people who are having issues around paying an inconvenience fee for this, okay? You got to come in with this wash and blow dry, because you know what? We ain't washing this hair. This is our natural hair. Remember, we got the C.R.O.W.N Act. And we got licensed professionals and natural, this is the new category too, natural hairstylists who do not want to comb. This hair looks kind of good, right? It's this hair. Sure, they ain't messing around. They don't want to rock with this hair. They don't want to comb this hair. They want you to pay for this. And then last but not least, you got to also leave a deposit. All of this in the wake of the C.R.O.W.N Act. So, Cheryl, that's going to be our topic next week. McComb's girl wants to talk about the mother texture. So our last podcast for this month is going to be about the mother texture. She wants to know a little bit more, maybe about how you come up with that name and all this cool stuff. So McComb's girl, get your hair combed out so we can bring you in the chat. We can't wait to meet you in person. So Cheryl, walk us out with some wonderful school of thought about going into the future of education for the beauty and barber industry, not just Afro hair, because you just laid us out with the difference between natural hair and black hair. But take us into the future. What do you see for us?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I'm a little disappointed about the hairstylist who decided to leave the industry. And most people really don't know. You do know that Beyonce opened up a beauty school in Brooklyn about 12 years ago. And with her mother, the legendary, Tina Knowles Lawson. But just to go to show you that if you didn't know that, that's how much of trouble we're in. Just the fact that one of the most famous hairstylists within the last 25 years, Tina, opened up a beauty school in the natural hair capital of the world with her famous daughter, 2 daughters. And it didn't work. And so just in terms of the future, and let me address the consultation. I teach consultation not because to refine a cosmetologist or a professional, top professional's been in the business for over 10 to 15, 20 years to sharpen their skills in communication. The skill that needs to be sharpened is the connection of and allowing the cosmetologist to take control over the visit and to take control over their client's hair world, their image, their universe, that to also be in control over the chair and when she comes in and to making her feel comfortable. Because one of the things that we all leave a physician or a doctor's visit, one thing that we appreciate being listened to. We appreciate them repeating what we say. We appreciate them remembering our issues and concerns from 1 week to the next week, to the next week, to the next week. We appreciate the personal touches, but most of all, we appreciate their level of scholar and their ability to problem solve. And we appreciate that. And the only way that you do that is to just sharpen certain parts of your communication style and maybe some personality modification. But yeah, the future is cosmetologists reconnecting back to the consumer. I think that is a place that we work on. Because there is an elephant in the room. There is a little smoldering resentment and mistrust, and thinking that we probably don't know what we don't know. And one of the things that we have to hold the state boards and the state legislation in that particular state, no matter what state you're in, and to talk about some of the sabotaging of our careers on the state level, and not allowing us, the free reign to be top professionals and to partner with them and to partner with the state. They have ignored us, and they think that, and so much that they have lowered the career down to a labor force, blue collar labor force. And they have not been our advocates, even with the IRS. But there is a lot of resentment, and there's a lot of things that we need to talk about behind closed doors, separate from the consumer, that we need to deal with. But the future is definitely us coming together and making sure that the world respects us. So we must respect each other and respect our field, respect knowledge, wisdom, because it's all about power. And at the end of the day, it's how we feed our families. So that in my opinion, is where the future lies.
Oh, wow. Come on, Macomb girl, let's sing it. You dropped the bomb on me. Hey, baby. Woo! Yeah, you dropped the bomb on us. You are absolutely right. It's like, thank you, man. Facebook is on fire. Thank you so much, Facebook. Y'all lighting us up tonight. We appreciate that. We appreciate each and every last one of you. You can guarantee, rest assured that next week, you're going to, use this last ending as some highlights, because I do think in the end, Cheryl, that people are afraid to show love. I really do. I think the money, and I think that's why he got out. And I'm not saying he didn't like the money, don't get me wrong. But I think, anytime a man writes a book about the makeover from within, he's really saying the same thing that you're saying. I think, he wanted to, and I'm not saying he didn't, but, to focus on love behind the chair. And this is something that it doesn't get talked about a lot because, you can't put no money on no love. You know what I'm saying, Cheryl? So this is going to be interesting. You guys get ready to join us next week, and we're going to be talking about that consultation. That's the future. And you may have heard Cheryl talk about the Sankofa, Afrofuturism. So I'm going to see if I can find some clips around that as well. Our last Monday, McComb's girl is going to come in the chat, and we're going to just simply talk about the mother texture. I'm going to help her prepare and get you a good 4 questions ready, and maybe we can find some clips about that as well. So mother texture. Now, if you guys want to participate and get in the chat with us, now you ain't got to show your face. We don't mind, because trust me, I got enough makeup on for all of us. Yeah, no, Shirley ain't putting on this crap on her face, but I am. You're so vain. Hey! All right. So if you want to join us in the live, remember, just join us. Drop what you want to talk about in the chat. Cheryl says there's no topic that she really can't cover. Now, we're going to keep it clean because remember, YouTube will get us if I cuss too much, okay? So I ain't cussing no more because YouTube been flagging me, okay? They say, you better stop that cussing. Okay, so we're going to be back next week. We're going to be talking about that consultation. And remember, his name is Ty Hunter. He has his new book. It's called The Makeover from Within. But if that ain't your thing, Cheryl, what's the name of your book?
Beauty and Myth.
All right, Cheryl has her book, Beauty and Myth. And then, of course, y'all know me. I got my 2 books right here. Y'all know from the hood, right? Your money, y'all can't afford them eggs. Don't worry about it. Y'all go ahead and put them eggs down and buy these books for me and Cheryl and Ty Hunter. That's what y'all can do today. Don't buy them eggs. Them eggs cost. These books is cheaper than some damn eggs. Who would ever thought that? Oh, I cussed. I'm sorry, y'all too fake. Cheryl said I knew she was gonna cuss. She can't. She from the project. She can't help it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna get off the chat. We're about to get up out of here. But in all seriousness, if you're looking for some wonderful reads, don't forget to check out my children's book, Curly Hair Adventures, and also my self-help book titled What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon. Cheryl, my partner, she has her book, Beauty and Myth. But if you want something that's really going to inspire you, as a cosmetologist or everyday person, please go and check out Ty Hunter's book called Makeover. All right, from the Beauty Within. All right, thank you guys so much. And you know what we say when we're always sending out. That's right, Sandra. Let me put that up there. Wait a minute, Sandra. Hold on, Sandra. Don't get off yet. Wait a minute. All right, that's right, Kilolo. I can't help myself. I just gotta cuss. Don't put that dang on cuss job, because I ain't gonna put no money in it and donate it to a cause. All right, guys. Sandra, thank you so much. You know what we say? We're always signing out, right? We're talking about a whole lot of peace. For sure, a whole lot of love. We ain't scared to love up in here. Don't worry about that. And for sure, a whole lot of hair, okay? And if you ain't got no hair, don't want no hair, can't stand hair, hell ain't a bad word, Sandra. Hell, you can't grow it out. You plan on cutting it off. You got a couple of bald spots and stuff. Y'all don't worry about that. Please don't worry about it, because Cheryl and I say all of that is beautiful too, and so are you. We will be back next week, and we're going to be talking about the consultation and bringing some love behind the chair. You know what I'm saying? Some love behind that chair. Oh, that's your playground. All right, see y'all. Y'all have a wonderful week. Happy MLK Day. I have a dream. Bye, guys.